From people having literal hallucinations to making the entire nation's children scream, these weren't just harmless classics. Beneath the laughter and charm lies a twisted place full of tragedy, terror, and secrets long buried. These are the dark sides of the classic TV shows, and what they didn't want you to see.
You mean the X-15?
It was supposed to be a silly sci-fi comedy, a goofy Martian living with a regular guy on Earth. But behind the laughs of My Favorite Martian, things got real weird real fast. Ray Walston, who played the Martian, wore heavy alien makeup and electronic antenna props. The gear was painful and the headpiece caused him daily headaches and skin rashes. He hated it, and after the show ended, he said it destroyed his acting career. He couldn't land serious roles due to people only seeing him as being that Martian guy. But things got even stranger. Co-star Bill Bixby was charming on camera, but off-screen, he had wild mood swings. Crew members said he would yell out of nowhere and storm off the set. Some believe the show had a weird energy to it, as if something wasn't right.
Oh, just don't sit there.
And those antenna props? A studio electrician once claimed he saw them move on their own. No one touched them. They were locked away, yet one morning, they were found halfway across the prop room floor. Nobody could explain it. People began whispering that maybe, just maybe, the set had some crazy, bizarre curse. Or was the Martian not entirely fake? It's just an old comedy, sure, but when a show messes with your mind, ruins careers, and leaves props creeping around in the dark, it doesn't feel like fiction any longer.
Very simply, coincidence.
You probably remember the Brady Bunch as that perfect, happy family with matching clothing, cheesy smiles, and catchy music. But behind all that sunshine, something much darker was hiding. Something no one talked about until now. Robert Reed, who played the calm and caring dad, Mike Brady, had a big secret. He was gay. But back then, being gay was dangerous for your career. So he had to hide it from the world. Even though he was always smiling on screen, Robert was hurting inside.
Well, you know how time flies when you're having fun.
Years later, he died from complications related to AIDS. The world didn't find out the truth until after he was gone. Then there was Maureen McCormick. You know her as Marcia, the popular, pretty, perfect daughter. But real life was not so perfect for her. After the show ended, she fell into a deep hole of drug addiction and depression.
Oh, an older man noticed me!
She said in her book that she lost herself. Fame had messed her up, badly. Now here's where things get real creepy. Some of the cast believed the set was cursed. Strange accidents kept happening, lights falling, doors slamming by themselves, weird injuries in general. People joked about it at first, but after a while, it didn't feel so funny anymore. Could it really have been just bad luck? Or was the Brady Bunch hiding something bigger? Something no one could explain. Because how can a show so bright leave behind such a dark shadow? And if the fake family can fall apart like that, what else were we missing about the shows we grew up watching?
You do your part, I'll do mine.
Three's Company was all laughs on screen, goofy jokes, awkward moments, and lots of mix-ups. But behind the scenes, things were far from funny. In fact, they were a bit scary. Suzanne Summers, who played the bubbly and beautiful Chrissy, made a bold move. She asked to be paid the same as her male actors. Seems fair, right? But not in Hollywood back then. Instead of giving her what she deserved, the producers turned on her. They cut her from the show entirely.
Are you gonna help me or not?
Aha!
Just like that, she was blacklisted. No one wanted to work with her anymore. All for standing up for herself. And then there's John Ritter. He played Jack, the heart of the show. Everyone loved him. But years after Three's Company ended, he died suddenly on set on another show. A heart problem. And here's the creepy part. On Three's Company, there was a joke where Jack fakes a heart attack. Same side, same spot. Same way he died in real life. It's horrifying. And it doesn't stop there. During the 4th season, the cast started talking about strange things on set. Cold spots, lights flickering, whispers with no one there. Some believed a poltergeist was haunting the studio. A few crew members even quit. They couldn't take it any longer. What if Three's Company wasn't just a comedy, but a warning in disguise? A place where women were chewed up, silenced, and tossed aside. Maybe the real horror wasn't the ghost, but the industry itself.
What's it mean? I don't know. Do you know what that means?
Little House on the Prairie felt warm and cozy, bonnets and wheat fields and old-timey music. But what if I told you something real dark was actually hiding under all that sunshine? Let's start with the ending. In the final episode, they didn't just pretend to blow up the town, they actually did it. A real explosion. Real buildings with real fires, no special effects. The cast and crew stood there and watched everything burn for real. Why? Some say it was symbolic. Others say it was just plain dangerous. And that's not even the scariest part. Years later, a strange pattern started to appear. People from the crew were getting sick. Not just random colds, but cancer, one after another. Some believed it was just bad luck. The show was filmed near an old weapons testing site. That land may have been full of toxic chemicals. Some even call it a cancer cluster. Was the beautiful Prairie actually poisoned? And here's something even creepier. Mary Sue Anderson played Mary, the daughter who went blind. She was so good at acting, fans thought it was real. Some even believed she was actually cursed. A few wrote letters begging her to stop playing Mary because they were scared it would cause more bad things to happen. Imagine that.
Oh, all right. Yay! Mary's gonna play!
A TV show meant to feel simple and peaceful may have been hiding danger, disease, and darkness all along.
What do you mean, why am I talking so softly?
The Andy Griffith Show felt like a gentle breeze on a summer day. Small town life, friendly neighbors, and that slow whistling tune. But what if Mayberry wasn't so peaceful after all? What if behind those friendly smiles, something darker was hiding? Let's talk about Andy Griffith and Don Knotts. On screen, they were the perfect pair, but off camera, things weren't as nice. People close to the show say there was deep tension between them. Silent fights, cold shoulders. Some say Don Knotts always looked nervous, not because of acting, but because Andy made him feel that way in real life.
And that keeps him cool in the summer.
And it gets worse. There were rumors that Andy wasn't the kind man he played on screen. Some crew members say he would be sharp with his words, harsh, even cruel when the cameras weren't rolling. That warm, calm voice could turn cold and angry within a second. People wouldn't dare to cross him. Mayberry might have looked perfect, but sometimes the darkest places are the ones that pretend to be the most safe. The Mickey Mouse Club was supposed to be magical, with bright lights, happy songs, and smiling kids wearing mouse ears. But behind all that sparkle, there was something much darker, a place where dreams came true, and sometimes fell apart. The kids on the show, called Mouseketeers, were watched like hawks. Every move they made had to be perfect. They couldn't act silly, speak out, or mess up. They were told what to wear, how to talk, even how to smile. Behind the scenes, it was like a factory making perfect little stars, no matter the cost. But not all of them could handle the pressure.
You're all the guests of the Merry Mouseketeers.
Many of the Mouseketeers, after leaving the show, fell into dark places like drugs, depression, even mental breakdowns. They had been famous so young, then forgotten just as fast. That kind of life messes with your mind, and one by one, some of them lost their way. Annette Funicello was different. She became a big star and stayed strong for the most part. People say she was one of the few to escape without falling apart, but not everyone was that lucky. Now here's the part no one talks about. There were whispers, rumors of hidden cameras backstage, of kids being watched when they thought they were alone, of strange behavior from adults on set. Nothing was ever proven, but the stories never went away. They still float around like ghosts from Disney's darker past. Behind the cheerful songs and polished smiles of the Mickey Mouse Club, there were cracks, faint but undeniable. And just like those old reruns, we've got more dark corners to explore. So if you want to keep digging with us, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification icon before the next memory fades to static. Let's continue.
A man made out of tin!
The Wizard of Oz looks magical. Bright colors, a singing scarecrow, and a girl in sparkly shoes trying to get home. But behind the scenes, it was a real nightmare. Let's start with the Tin Man. The first actor who played him had to quit. Why? Because the silver paint used on his face made him super sick. It had real metal within it, aluminum dust. He couldn't breathe and ended up in the hospital. Imagine almost dying just to look like a robot. And poor Judy Garland, Dorothy herself. She was only 16.
My goodness.
But the studio treated her terribly. They forced her to wear a tight corset to make her look younger. They made her take pills to sleep, pills to wake up, and even pills to stop eating. All that just so she could fit into their idea of perfect. And it gets darker. There's an old creepy rumor that someone died on set. Some say if you look closely during the forest scene, you see a figure hanging in the background. People believed it was a crew member of one of the Munchkin actors. Later, the studio said it was just a bird, but many fans still think something else happened, something they tried to hide. And those Munchkin actors? Some were said to be wild off camera, drinking, fighting, causing chaos.
Shame on you!
What did you do that?
The set may have looked like a fairy tale, but it was more like a circus.
Good night, Dorothy. Good night, Mommy.
Sesame Street is supposed to be safe, right? Bright colors, friendly puppets, and lessons about kindness. But in 1976, something very strange happened. An episode aired and then disappeared. It was called the Wicked Witch episode. The same witch from The Wizard of Oz showed up on Sesame Street, green skin, sharp nose, and everything.
You have a very strong imagination. No.
She wanted her broomstick back, and she wasn't joking around. She threatened the characters, yelling at them, and basically scared everyone. Kids watching at home, they freaked out. Parents began calling PBS non-stop. They said their children were crying, shaking, even hiding behind couches.
I'm glad she's leaving. Oh, not me.
Some reports said kids had nightmares for weeks. And here's the weirdest part. A few parents claimed their kids saw things after watching the episode, like shadows that weren't there. A few even used the word hallucinations. PBS pulled the episode fast, like it never happened, and for years no one could find a copy. It became a ghost story. The Sesame Street episode so scary, they buried it. And then came the conspiracy. People started whispering. What if that wasn't the only episode? What if there were more? Hidden, banned, erased forever. Some say lost episodes still exist somewhere, deep in old PBS vaults, never to see the light of day again. And the Wicked Witch episode? It finally reappeared decades later, but even then, it felt off. Like something cursed and something that should have stayed lost and never found.
I decided the group needs a little sex appeal.
The Partridge Family looked like a dream. A fun musical family riding around in a colorful bus, singing happy songs. But behind all the smiles and songs, things were falling apart. David Cassidy played Keith Partridge. He was cool, handsome, and every teen girl's crush. Almost overnight, he became a superstar. But being that famous so young, it started to break him. He couldn't go anywhere without fans chasing after him. He couldn't breathe without someone watching. At first, it was exciting, but soon, it became scary.
He said, if we don't stop bothering him.
Cassidy began drinking, a lot. Fame made him rich, but then came money problems. He filed for bankruptcy, and as he got older, he got sick. He was diagnosed with dementia and passed away too soon. His co-star, Shirley Jones, once said the show looked cheerful on the outside, but it hid a lot of the pain. The cast had to smile for the cameras even when they felt broken down on the inside. And the fans weren't just obsessed, they even became dangerous.
When I faint, you'll make sure there's someone around to catch me.
Cassidy once got death threats. People were angry he didn't belong to them. He even stopped doing concerts for a while because it felt unsafe. Could you imagine that? Singing songs one minute and fearing for your life the next. The show gave people joy, but for David Cassidy, it became a death trap.
That thing out there's bigger than any dog I've ever seen.
If you were a kid in the 70s, Land of the Lost either thrilled you or haunted your dreams. It It was about a family trapped in a strange world filled with dinosaurs, time portals, and creepy lizard men known as Sleestaks. Sounds cool until you realize the show's behind-the-scenes chaos was just as strange as the story. The Sleestak costumes were nightmare fuel. Tight, sweaty rubber suits with no ventilation. One actor passed out inside his suit from heat stroke. When he woke up, he could not speak clearly for hours, just mumbling nonsense. The cast said it was like he was speaking a different language. The writers were allegedly taking psychedelics while writing scripts, which might explain why some episodes went way off the rails, like the one where the family is stuck in a time loop and slowly go insane. For a kids show, that was pretty dark. And then there are the fan theories. Some people believe the strange symbols on the show's stone tablets are based on real ancient alien markings. A few conspiracy theorists even say the creators were trying to warn us about other dimensions. And the weirdest part? Kids watching the show back then reported the same recurring nightmare, being chased by Sleestaks through endless tunnels. Different kids, same dream.
Mrs. Stoddard, if you'd be so kind.
Dark Shadows was supposed to be just another soap opera, but then the vampires showed up. And once the monsters entered the storyline, things started to get scary, not just on screen, but off screen too. The cast was huge, and strangely, several of them passed away suddenly and unexpectedly after filming. Actress Grayson Hall swore the set was haunted. She once said she saw a tall, faceless shadow glide across the studio during a night shoot. Others said the lights would flicker during emotional scenes, almost like something was watching. The show's gothic mansion set was creepy on its own, but even creepier, one of the original film reels vanished, completely gone. Security footage showed nothing. It was never recovered, and some say it was cursed and had to be destroyed.
Died a few years after he went to England.
Fans loved Barnabas Collins, the brooding vampire, but the actor, Jonathan Frid, said the role gave him horrible dreams. He started to believe the character was following him. He even refused to say certain lines during filming, saying they felt too real. And some episodes were aired without explanation, then pulled, never to be seen again. No one knows why. Were they too dark, or did something go wrong while filming? Even today, people say that watching certain scenes alone at night gives them chills, or worse. But what do you think? Which one of these shows gave you nightmares? Let us know in the comments section below, and if you thought this video was great, check out our other previous videos on other classics with even darker secrets. As always, thank you for watching.